TPM and HPMS, data submission timeline. Recent regulations, specifically 23 CFR 490, require the integration of new Transportation Performance Management, TPM, related data requirements and specifications into the existing Highway Performance Management System, HPMS. This video helps states understand how these new requirements will affect their workflow by answering the questions: what are the major elements of the HPMS data submission timeline? What are the changes to the HPMS submission timeline as a result of TPM? And how does the HPMS submission timeline relate to the TPM timeline? A separate video provides an overview of TPM as it relates to HPMS. What are the major elements of the HPMS data submission timeline? The HPMS data submission timeline has 4 distinct phases: data collection and aggregation, data submission to FHWA, FHWA review and certification, and data distribution and reporting. The process starts with each new calendar year, and each data cycle takes approximately 2 years to complete. Bear in mind, however, that a new cycle of data collection begins in the next calendar year, concurrent with the completion of the first cycle. The first phase, data collection and aggregation, is managed by the state DOT and takes place over the course of the first calendar year, which is considered the data collection year. The data being collected will include all annual data items and some portion of biennial data items. During this phase, a designated central office at the state serves as the repository for data collected from district offices, metropolitan planning organizations, local governments, as well as data assembled and maintained in traffic databases, pavement databases, geographic information system databases, and road inventory systems. The second phase, data submission to the FHWA Office of Highway Policy Information, is also managed by the state DOT and happens the following calendar year. All the data gathered by the state's designated central office in the previous calendar year will be submitted by 2 key submission deadlines: April 15th and June 15th of the submission year. Once the data are submitted, FHWA will certify the data, at which point the data is considered locked for review, and no further changes may be made without permission from FHWA. Each state develops its exact HPMS submittal process according to its established business practices. More information on the data items to be submitted at these 2 dates will be discussed later in this video. The third phase, FHWA review and certification, is done by FHWA and begins as soon as states submit their data in April and lasts until the second half of the calendar year. In this time, FHWA will review the submission to identify any data anomalies, seek clarification or amendments, propose changes to be made in the next submittal, and give the state an opportunity to send a response for the official record. When that collaborative process is completed, FHWA will certify the data, at which point the data is considered locked and no further changes may be made. The final phase, data distribution and reporting, is led by FHWA and occurs at the end of the second year of the data cycle. During this phase, FHWA integrates the data from all states into HPMS. By December 31st, the HPMS cycle is complete and data is made available to stakeholders. What are the changes to the HPMS submission timeline as a result of TPM? The first HPMS data submission date under TPM requirements is April 15th for interstate pavement condition and related inventory items. This is a change from previous HPMS submissions, when this data could be submitted up until June 15th. Because TPM requirements for interstate pavement data took effect with the 2018 data collection year, April 2019 was the first time that interstate data was due to FHWA by April 15th. After April 15th, the next deadline is June 1st, when certifications of public road mileage are due to FHWA headquarters. While certified mileage is due to the Office of Policy by June 1st, each state's FHWA division office may set an earlier due date for submission to their office. All other HPMS data items, including non-interstate pavement condition data, all remaining inventory, route, traffic, and geometric data items, the sample panel, summary data, metadata, and estimates are due by June 15th of each year. The June 15th deadline also applies to the newest HPMS dataset, the Travel Time Metrics dataset. These metrics, which must be calculated by states based on either the National Performance Management Research Dataset, NPMRDS, or an equivalent travel time dataset, must be submitted to the HPMS system. How does the HPMS submission timeline relate to the TPM timeline? TPM performance periods for most performance areas are 4 calendar years long. There are important tasks and milestones throughout this period that will rely on accurate and timely data submissions to HPMS. The HPMS data timeline is particularly important to FHWA's use of the data to assess significant progress and minimum condition attainment. FHWA will make significant progress determinations after the second and final years of a performance period. Minimum pavement condition determinations will be assessed annually. Determinations will be based solely on the data contained in HPMS as of the following dates in the applicable years: June 15th for interstate pavement condition, August 15th for non-interstate NHS pavement condition, travel time reliability, and freight reliability. Because FHWA relies on the data that is available in the HPMS system as of prescribed dates, adhering to the HPMS data cycle timeline is crucial to the accurate assessment of performance and to the success of TPM. The specific requirements surrounding all data items and submission deadlines can be found in the HPMS Field Manual and the HPMS Field Manual Supplemental Guidance, Travel Time Metric Data Reporting Requirements and Specifications. The specific requirements can also be explored in more detail through a variety of FHWA web-based trainings, on-site trainings, and other resources. For links to these resources and more information on TPM and HPMS, please download the companion resource on the TPM part of the FHWA website at www.fhwa.dot.gov/TPM/videos. Working together, we can provide strategies to improve our nation and people's lives through great transportation planning.